Thank you, Dr. Vikas Kumar and Dr. Neha Kakkar and those who attend the Hindi session. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. This is the 2065th day of continuous webinar conducted by International Forum for Promoting Homeopathy. Today, our guest is Dr. NAJEEB Ahammed. Let us begin the session with 1 minute silent prayer. Thank you all. The International Forum for Promoting Homeopathy comprises of homeopathic lovers, students, and doctors, and we have 3 sessions every day. The first session of the day is already over in Hindi from 7:30 to 8:30. From 8:30 to 9:30, we have the international session in English, and from 9:30 to 10:30, we have a local language session in Malayalam. We are uploading the videos of the same on the very next day itself so that those who missed the session can watch it again. You can subscribe the same without paying any money. You can share it with anyone who loves homeopathy. And so far, we have uploaded more than 3,500 videos in our YouTube channel, IFPH Homeopathy. Please search at IFPH Homeopathy for watching our previous sessions. And let me come to today's guest. It is none other than Dr. NAJEEB Ahammed. Doctor has completed BHMS, IFM, FINEM, MBA, HCS, and he is an international speaker and has more than 16 years of clinical experience and has presented so many brilliant sessions in this forum, and all the sessions were exemplary, brilliant one. And today, Dr. NAJEEB, who is speaking, he will be talking about microplastic, the invisible factory inside. Yes, let us see what the invisible factory inside you. So we proudly welcome the guest of the day, Dr. NAJEEB Ahammed. Welcome, doctor. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you so much, Doctor. I have unmuted and shared the slides. Hope
Yes.
you can all see that.
Yes, we can see everything.
And how audible I am?
Everything fine. Everything
Okay,
fine.
wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Dhanesh. Thank you, IFPH. Our topic today is in the series of toxicology is on plastic, and especially on microplastic, the invisible factory within us, and the health crisis which is unfolding year by year, decade by decade, and we are trying to find out what is happening in our life and the life around us, and the various species which is living, co-living with us in the land and on the ocean. So plastic is a miracle. It was a great blessing in some sense when we look into that. But what price we are paying? Is it a miracle or a menace we are and how plastic is becoming a public health problem or crisis? So we will try to understand the journey of plastic from a manufactured product to an environmental hazard or pollutant to a biological toxins. It has 3 or 4 levels of journey through the from the factory to our tissues and cells. So we will try to understand various forms of plastics like microplastic, macroplastics, and nanoplastics, and we'll try to identify the common sources and its sources of exposure in our daily life, and we will try to understand the mechanism of cellular and microbial and systemic damage which can be caused by the plastics. And I will share by the end of today's session a few tips for reducing the plastic impact in our daily life. Let us try to understand what plastic is and whether it is a blessing or a curse. And we are all guinea pigs in this experiment of big, a plastic realm or the age of plastic we are living in. According to Tim Dickinson in his epic work, Planet Plastic. You must have heard of Hercules, the great Greek hero. And he was traveling with wife, beautiful wife, Deianira. They were about to cross a river, and there was a ferryman. Centaur is half horse and half man. Centaur Nessus. Nessus was the ferryman for Darnia. Diarnia was taken by Nessus, and Achilles, sorry, the hero Hercules was waiting on the other side of uh, the river. As the husband Hercules waiting for Deianira, the ferryman thought of a different idea. He took took the Deianira with him instead of taking her to her husband, and that was a bad thought for Nessus the ferryman, or the Nessus the centaur, and Hercules sent an arrow and killed Nessus. Before dying, Nessus did a final act of vengeance. Nessus gave a blood-stained tunic or a shirt to Deianira as a trick. Like he said, you use this shirt whenever you find Hercules is cheating you. Hercules is showing less interest in you and straying away. You can use this shirt, and he will be running behind you like crazy. So she believed in him, and she has taken the the shirt with her. And Hercules, as you know, he was like a hero, winning trophy after trophy, winning and adventures after adventures. 12 labors, that is otherwise called. Each labor, each adventure, began to amass a lot of followers, a lot of subscribers, a lot of fanfares, and every time then most of these fans were young ladies of Athens or Sparta or Macedonia. So every time he wins, more subscribers, more followers, more ladies are being attracted to him. So each time he wins new trophy, Diana, the wife, like any other wife, was possessive and jealous, began to grow more jealous and more restless, more unhappy. So she thought of the shirt which was gifted by the Nessus, the ferryman, and she tried to put that on Hercules, and Hercules took the shirt happily because that was a gift given to him by his beautiful wife. And the moment he put the shirt on, the shirt began to activate it, began to work on, and the curse of Nessus began to work on, and the shirt was smeared with blood, Hydra blood, the blood which was smeared by smeared in the arrow of the Hercules himself, and the shirt began to incipient or disseminate toxins from the thread to thread, and that passed through the skin of Hercules and entered to the bloodstream, and that enters to the flesh and bone of Hercules, and that started melting his blood and bone, inch by inch. So that was the disastrous end of the great hero Hercules, and only to great sorrow to his beloved wife Deianira. So, shirt of Narcissus and death of Hercules, these are the few things we need to understand. After 3,000 years, this story being told to the Greek by great authors of Greece, the shirt of Nexus is still haunting us back after 3,000 plus years as synthetic fabrics. How a mere shirt have killed Hercules, the mighty Hercules, the most powerful person of that age. Our shirts are, though much slower, are killing us biologically, killing or annihilating us cell by cell, atom by atom. That is how we are trying to examine today. As synthetic fibers, we like polyethylene, terylene, rayon, and nylon, and various kinds of acrylics, fibers, these toxic chemicals and materials, how they are impacting us, our health in various levels. And our shirt today, as we believe, is not simply shirt or something like cloth. When we think about cloth, we don't think about polyester. We don't think about plastics. In fact, we are wearing plastics on. The exact plastic we are using to, drink our water, or otherwise we call that PET or PET. Okay. So synthetic plastic is the curse of Nessus that is haunting us even today. Okay. A new modern man is putting on a shirt, and he's putting a shirt which is not having a great difference to the shirt of what our great hero in the mythology has worn. So the curse of Nessus is haunting us back. You see this bottle of our favorite Fanta or Cola. It is made of PET or PET, or otherwise called polyethylene terephthalate. Polyethylene terephthalate is otherwise called PET, is the same chemical that is being used in most of the polystyrene shirts that we are using. So chemically, both are identical, both are same. So the most of the fabrics, most of the shirt we are using is plastic. It can be either polyester, or it can be nylon, or it can be acrylic, elastine, or rayon, or some kind of viscose. So there are polyesters are something like melted plastic pellets, which is being used either for shirt or for creating our bottles we do use every day as water bottles or other, various other things. Nylon is another petroleum-based product. Acrylic is again polyacrylonitrile nitrile plastic, polyacrylonitrile plastic, and elastine is again polyurethane plastic. All these are plastic, nothing other than plastics. What is happening when we put that on, or when we are using it? When we are using synthetic cloths or synthetic materials, every movement, every motion we do, we move, it throws off a lot of fibers. Every abrasion, every touch, every rubbing on will throw away a lot of microfibers. And washing, the activity of washing again, can throw off almost 100,000 microfibers per load, maybe 3 or 4 kg. A washing machine load can throw away 100,000 microfibers per load. And drying again, while we use the spinners, it will throw away a lot of microfibers into the air and to our lung. And again, while we sweat, our chemicals in our set, or the temperature or salt, can chemically leach out the plastic in our shirts, of course. So shirt is shedding microplastic right now while we are sitting and talking now. Then what is plastic? Plastic is something we call, they are nothing but polymers, or otherwise called polymers in hydrocarbons. So plastics are mostly thermoplastic polymers. Polymers can be thermoplastic or thermostatic, which or thermostable. Thermoplastic is the polymers which is highly labile, highly volatile to the influence of temperature. So that is why when you press a cotton shirt, it won't burn. While with the same temperature, when you press your synthetic fabric, it can burn, likely burn in even in some temperature. So it is highly meltable, highly degradable, highly, uh, flammable. So it is lightweight. Why it is so appealable? Why it is so appealable? Why it is so uh, you know uh, convenient? Why we all fall into that? Instead of cotton, we highly tend to go for synthetic fabrics because they are lightweight, they are durable, they are synthetic, and they, or otherwise they are semi-synthetic. and these are, of course, polymeric materials and primarily from petrochemicals. All the plastics are from petrochemicals. And they are defined by their peculiar plasticity. It is highly malleable and more modulatable. Like, you can change the shape, and it is extrudable, while, yeah, and it is highly playable. You can do a lot of things with that. Okay. And it can be pressed into various shapes and utilities. So that is why it is high utilitarian value, very high usability, very high convenience, pressing, washing, drying, using, and it is tremendous in its versatility in using. So that is why we are all fall into the trap of plastics without country, caste, creed, or generation, aged or young, whatever it is. So while we look into the civilization, the Stone Age, Bronze Age, Iron Age, and again medieval age and early modern age, and we believe that we are in a modern age. But if you classify the most important tool which we have been using in civilization, like Stone Age, Bronze Age, and all, today we are living in an age called plastic age. So everything we start in the morning. From the morning, you wake up and you take your brush on your no brush handle. It's bristles. Everything is plastic. And in your toothpaste, you'll be having a lot of granules which are plastic again. So until you go to your bed, go for your sleep, and you are squeezing, you are putting yourself under the blanket. Again, blanket is plastic, your bed sheet is plastic, your pillow cover is plastic, everything is plastic. And what is inside that, your pillow, is again plastic. So day in, day out, night and day, we are engulfed by, we are living in plastic, day in and day out. So we need to understand that we need to um, um, learn how the reality we are living in. So 9 billion metric tons of plastic, 9 billion metric tons of plastic. But that means 1 million metric tons for each person. We are 1 metric ton for each person, 1 metric ton for each person who are living on the face of Earth today. 1 metric ton. We are almost 8 million, not 1 plus metric ton, because we are almost 8 billion human being on the face of Earth today. So half of a plastic all made ever are produced in the last 20 years. Okay, first 40 years it was slower. Last 20 years it was augmented tremendously, and coming next few years or next decade or so, it will be multiplied several times. So almost 48 million tons enters environment every year, and by 2050, our seas are the most devastating, most terrible place that everything is ending up. So in by 2050, more plastic in ocean can be there than fishes. So you throw your net catching fish, it is highly likely to get plastic debris than fish if you are doing that by 2050. And out of this 9 plus billion metric tons of plastic, most of it are still exist. You know, several billion tons of organic materials are going into our earth and ocean, and these are all totally cyclable, coming back to nature without harming nature. But plastic is highly stubborn, and it's all 99 plus billion plus metric ton of plastic is still exist. 90 plus 95 plus of them are still exist, but they are much smaller than the original shape. So as we go, we are corrupting, and we are destroying not only our life, not only our biology, we are destroying the biology of everything around us, the plants, fauna, flora, and organisms in the land, in the forest, and in the ocean. So we are destroying, we are corrupting everything around us by using indiscriminate use of plastic. What is plastic? Plastics are polymers, as we have said, or thermolabile polymers with additives. It is not simply polymers. By its original nature, it is polymers. But we add, while we use plastic into various utilities, we add something called additives, some chemicals. Plastic itself is having its own damage causing potential. We add something with that, and that can cause further damage to us and to our environment. Okay, so like what are the polymers like PET and PVC, polypropylene, polystyrene, polycarbonates. These are the core of the plastic, otherwise called polymers, and something we add into that like BPA or bisphenol A, bisphenol S and F, phthalates and PFAs, or otherwise called forever chemicals, and various flame retardants we use in various things, including our cloth, including our paints and plastics, including in our furniture. So these are all potential neurotoxins and colorants and stabilizers, which is otherwise we not consider ourselves as plastic. So these are the additives. And let us come to the synthetic fabrics, the cloth of Nesses. We have already discussed. BPA, the toxin in your pocket. While we use BPA, the most notorious place we can find BPA is our thermal receipts in the groceries or supermarkets. Whenever you pay, you will get a small receipt with a thermal print in that for your purchase, and this purchase is 1,000 times harmful than the chemical which is there inside the lining of your plastic bottle. So that much potent it is. So we play with that, we cuddle with that, we put that in our pocket, when we again put it in our wallet, and we play with that several times, so without knowing the danger. So what we can do, what can be the cause, the cost we are supposed to pay? It can disrupt your endocrine. Because for example, it can the BPA, bisphenol A, can mimic estrogen. Especially in female, it can cause devastating effect. It can cause infertility, it can cause polycystic ovarian disease, it can cause prostate cancer, and it can cause breast cancer. And again, other than endocrine, it can cause other metabolic disruption and obesity and type 2 diabetes, and even type diabetes, because it can shut off your enzyme pancreatic activity. Again, forever chemicals, as we said earlier, and BPA, both of them can cause ADHD kind of thing, neurodevelopmental problems like ADHD and anxiety. While we discuss about ADHD, we have mentioned this impact of plastic in that. Coming to BPA free fallacy, you will see a lot of products which is claiming that it is BPA free, but it will be having an alternative called BPS, bisphenol S or bisphenol F, which is equally or even much more dangerous than BPA. So it can equally can cause endocrine effect, and BPA, bisphenol F, can cause endocrine effect, which is but understudied than BPA. Why we are all worried about BPA? Because BPA been already studied a lot, but other two are not being studied as it is been by BPA. Other bisphenol analogs are largely, there are so many other analogs which are not tested yet. And 80% of the BPA free products are still leaching estrogenic chemicals. So that is something we need to, take as a serious cautionary, claim. Okay, what are the additives usually we use in the polymer called plastic? Most There are three major things. One is phthalates, other one is PFAS or forever chemicals. The third one is flame retardants. These three are very common. Phthalates used in toys, in IV bags, and flooring materials, and food wraps like our the cup we use. So inside that there will be there will be PVC, and phthalate will be used to soften PVC, to mold PVC into various shape. So while we buy toys, you need to see whether it has PVC in it, whether it has phthalates in it. So that is very important. And these are endocrine, phthalates are endocrine disruptors, as we said, androgenic and again anti-estrogenic. It can cause in infants genital malformation, cryptorchidism or anorchidism kind of thing. There can be low sperm count, and early puberty is another very common thing, or early menarche. So coming to PFAS, you can find PFAS mostly in your non-stick pants, our everyday pants, and waterproof clothings and gym wear we usually use, and microwave popcorn within the bag. They'll line it, and most of the firefighting forms in your apartment we are using. Immune suppression is the most important thing, and it can cause reduced vaccine response. That is why when many vaccines which cannot meet its purpose due to the increased effect of PFAS. Again, it can cause kidney cancer, testicular cancer, various thyroid disease. Thyroid disease is something which is flaring up like anything, especially autoimmune thyroiditis. And forever chemicals are, as we have discussed in the thyroid session, is one of the most important thing we need to look into. Again, flame retardants. In fact, we are using flame retardants in various daily utilities like our furniture, our electronics and baby products, and our shirts, our paints, which you are using in our furniture and in your rooms, in your doors and all. So, the flame retardants are highly neurotoxic. It can create a lot of neurocognitive problems and behavioral problems like depression and anxiety, neurosis, and ADHD. Endocrine disruption is again, as we have said about other things, PAFs or forever chemicals, it can also cause endocrine dysfunction, thyroid disruption. How these plastics are entering into your body, entering in your system? What are the ways how the plastics are infiltrating in our life? It is something like a kind of boomerang, we can call that. We throw that, it coming back to us. You have seen this great hero Hercules have shot his arrow with something called hydra blood. He has killed hydra in his one of his labor, so he always keep hydra blood with him. So he used this hydra blood, which is highly poisonous, to kill his enemies. So he sent that hydra blood to Nessus, the ferryman, and the ferryman drank this same hydra blood to the shirt and sent that back to Hercules through his wife. So this is the irony. This is the funny way or ironic way. The same venom once Hercules used to kill his enemy came back to him and hit back to him and taken his life. So our own fate is something like this. Let us see how it is playing its, that ironic, cyclical, vicious play in our life. How plastic is doing that. So when we use plastic, we throw plastic in our environment, and we throw various plastic dust across us, and we are ingesting ourselves, food packaging, for example, and bottled water, whatever we are using. These are something we are, the way we are taking this plastic inside us. So food packaging like plastic wrap, containers, canned food lining, and again, while we use water, this is a very common thing. Every one of us, we are using at least 2 or 3 bottles of water every day. We are purchasing it. 2.5 or almost quarter a million particles per liter. If you are drinking 2 liters per day bottled water, you are consuming almost 500,000 plastic particles per day. Each of us. So, okay. So again, seafood, shellfish are the great concentrate of microplastic, because they have an affinity to collect microplastic. Unfortunately, these poor creatures are contaminated by shell, seafood heavily. And dust. Again, we throw plastic dust. The cloth we are using, the various articles we are using, handling, and even the tire we are using while we are, the tire which is rubbing in, these are all producing a lot of dust. Your vehicle tire is creating plastic dust, and that is been thrown into air and we are inhaling it. That is another way. So ingestion, and again, tea bag is another thing. Tea bag means it has billions of particles, plastic particles in nylon mesh of tea bags. So another one is inhalation. Inhalation, indoor inhalation can be there, like synthetic carpets, furniture, and clothings. Outdoor air like tire dust, industrial emissions, and again, the third one is microfibers from laundry. Is again, these are the way we inhale plastic. In the previous slide, we talk about the way we eat plastic, and we inhale plastic. And the third way is like our hero, uh, uh, um, Hercules. We are, seeping plastic through our skin, otherwise called transdermal. Okay, the plastic is seeping in, the plastic is disseminating through our cells to our through our skin to our cells to our bloodstream, and it is reaching even into the placenta, or it can even go to blood brain, the toughest biological barrier called blood brain barrier, and it can even express through the breast milk and pass to your infants and babies. So transdermal, there are, the most important is personal care products, like there are a lot of micro beads being used in our face wash, in our even in toothpaste, so which are banned in many countries, but which is widely available in all the third world countries, including India and Middle East. So most of the personal care, many of the personal care products do have micro beads, or tiny granules to enhance the comfortability of the product. Synthetic clothing is another one, which can cause transdermal, or the passage of toxins through the skin. The sweating can augment or increase the leaching process. And again, thermal receipt is another day-to-day plastic thing, which we are exposed to, and our skin is very much into contact to that, and the impact of BPA is so tremendous and highly taken for granted in our modern life. So what is happening? Plastic is getting degenerated or degraded. This degradation is the birth of microplastic. Every plastic we are using, it is bringing out billions and trillions of microplastics. And again, each microplastic is again producing millions and millions or billions of microplastics. So this is something which is happening. Each stage which is giving rise to next stage of plastic, calamities. Macroplastic, something we use every day. We see that, we name it, and we call it, and we use it. This is macroplastic. Our toothbrush, our combing brush, our vehicle tires, and even our shirts and clothes. These are plastic which can be tangible, seeable, usable. But there is something which is not being seen by naked eye in most of the cases, microplastics. Some microplastics can be seen, of course, because it is anything beyond 5 mm is microplastic. So 1 mm, up to 1 mm or half an mm we can still see. But beyond that, up to 1 micron, these are seeable or invisible, which is called microplastic. Microplastic. Macro we can see, micro we cannot see. Nanoplastic we cannot even see by using a ultra definition microscope, and which is visible only under high resolution microscope, very high resolution microscope. So which is only in the in a very sophisticated settings. So what are the agents? What are the powers? What are the tools which are degrading our plastic into microplastic and nanoplastic? Most important is UV radiation, of course. Every day we are into that, and UV radiation is something which is coming from the sun. And heat, again, now we are into summer, and we do have a lot of plastic around our environment and within our houses. And summer is something where we generate microplastic and nanoplastic tremendously. Heat and mechanical abrasion while we ride a car, rubbing of tire, rubbing of our hand with your in your wallet or in your shirt, and mechanical abrasion while you use your laundry. Okay, and again, waves, wind, soil, all these are causing abrasion to the plastic we have thrown. And again, biological activity. You eat plastic. We are using plastic like anything every day, and we are eating one, credit card size of plastic every week. Can you imagine that we are eating a plastic credit card every week, and each year 52 credit cards, 52 plastic cards we are eating, each of us. So biological activity, that will be one, while we eat plastic, it will be degraded to microplastic, and again from through our digestive enzymes and gut bacteria, that will be further downgraded or degraded into nanoplastics. So one microplastic can be fragmented into 1 billion nanoplastics. One microplastic is very tiny, very small. You cannot see that. You cannot see that with normal microscope even. And that is giving birth to 1 billion nanoplastics. So that is the scale. That is the scale, and that is the magnitude we are exposed to. It is a ticking time bomb. We are all sitting on this time bomb, waiting for the next big wave of, we are already into, because this cancer is growing like anything. The prevalence of cancer is increasing year by year, month by month. So we are already into that. So plastic is produced in the world is like 9 million. I have already said so far since 1950. Before 1950, there was nothing called plastic in our daily life. It was a rare commodity. But after 1950, we started using it. Last 20 years, we are plastic. We are all plastic. Each cell of us, each cells, each blood vessels and arteries and capillaries, we are all, smeared with, embedded with the tiny plastic particles inside and outside. And uh, the plastic we have been using since last 15 years, it is there. It is there in various forms. It can be smaller and smaller, more dangerous and more dangerous. Smaller doesn't mean that it is safe. No. Nanoplastic is much more dangerous than microplastic. Microplastic is much more dangerous than macroplastic or non-plastic we are using. So plastic that have been recycled is only 9% of all these 9 billion we have used. You can catch it in 10% if you want. So rest of the 79% is in the landfill and in water and various environmental place, and there is a critical 10%. Where is that? That is within us, each of us. So almost 10% each animal is carrying this plastic. Human being, turtles, clams and crustaceans, all these seaweeds, all the living organisms or non-living things in the world. Not only in living things, non-living things, the plastic is a reality, is a huge contamination, huge curse which has been infiltrated. And we are not cleaning up. We are just waiting for getting it fragmented. We are not reversing it. Only 1% is, I will come to that, is getting reversed or something around that. So how we can manage plastics? What is the way out? What we can do with that? So There are classical, you must have already seen this: reuse, reduce, recycle kind of thing. There are 5 R's in this. Refuse to use it. First, that is the most critical one. Refuse to use it, then reduce as much as possible. Try to, avoid first. Then, if at all you are using, reduce the quantity and try to use it again if possible. Instead of using and throwing, we are in a world we believe that using and throwing is a great thing, and that is the healthy thing. And we throw things around us so silly. And the fourth one is we can repurpose the plastic into various other ways. For example, water bottle. The gardeners use it for use it as a plant pot, for example. It's a classical example you have seen in many instances. So repurposes. There are a lot of other examples for repurposing plastics, and recycling is the another one which is not happening. Though recycling is a very potential one, it is one of the very effective one. In fact, it is not as effectively been carried out by us. So refuse means try to avoid plastic altogether. Try to do something else. Try to avoid that activity which is being used by using plastic. Cancel the plan itself. That is what refuse means. So let us try to understand the efficacy of this. Refuse, which is very effective, which is practical in most of the cases, because it prevent plastic from entering in your life at all. It is totally, there is no plastic in that. If you refuse, there is no plastic in your life. You refuse it. So once you yield to that, you started using it, try to reduce the use of it. If at all you are not refusing, if you are not avoiding totally, try to reduce the use of plastic. How we can do that? Lowering overall consumption and reduce the demand of it, and try to use 1 cup for multiple use in the same day, for example, instead of throwing cups up one after another. And reusing another one, reduce the usage, of course, lower overall consumption, and reusing is again using the something for an extended period. Okay, instead of eliminating like use and throw culture demanding us. Repurpose is another one. Keep plastic out of landfill. Okay, at least for time being. Even repurpose is not a long-term solution, but we can use that at least for some extent. And if at all you are not stop production of that. And the last one is recycling. 91% of the plastic has been never been recycled. Only 9% or less than that is been recycled instead of getting into a landfill. Or so this area is new development is happening. A lot of new research is happening. So I'm happy to be in one of the movement in that in the recycle business. So these are the four five things we already discussed. And let me tell you about 10 hacks, 10 things we can apply in your day-to-day life. 10 simple things. You cannot escape. It's not very easy thing. You have been, in my life, even after realizing all this, I was really struggling to find all these refuse, reuse, reduce kind of things. It is not that easy. But every small little step you are using, you are taking is a thing worth doing. Okay, it is not like we cannot change the world, we cannot do anything. It is a reality we cannot escape. That is not the case. We can change the reality around us, but small little things, one step a day, one thing in a day, one an activity in a week. So like that, try to try to change your clothings or shirt from plastic, polythene, terylene, acrylic to something which is more into cotton. You can go to 70% cotton, you can go to 90% cotton, you can go to 100% cotton. I have been, like anything, I have been exploring the possibility of getting pure cotton things for various purposes, like in your various garments you are using, your official and non-official, casual kind of thing. So it is not an easy thing. It is very hard, but there is a way, and the solutions are coming out. More and more companies are bringing 10% cotton things nowadays, thankfully. So when the demand is increasing, the supply will increase. Unfortunately, demand is not building up. So each of us are responsible. We have to decide today, and even I have to do that. I am on the, even until recently, I've been not very much keen about that, but last many months and many years, almost a year, I'm very much particular and try to change as much as possible in various ways, in my food, in my clothing, in my other utilities. Use glasses or steel. First one is stop heating plastic. While we use microwave, uh, ovens to warm our food in heat resistant plastic, we call that heat resistant plastic. But this microwave heat can you know, can damage the plastic, and it can throw away microplastics and nanoplastic. Heat can release BPAs and phthalates. Each plastic do have BPAs and phthalates. It can release it. Okay. Use glasses and steels instead of plastic for drinking, for storaging, and especially while you are using hot liquids. Avoid cash receipt. This is something which is very easy and very simple thing, and highly effective, because the impact, because the danger in your thermal paper which you are using from the supermarket is tremendous, huge, 1,000 times more than the other phthalates which we are exposed in our cup, or day to day plastic cups. So that much serious it is. So avoid cash register as much as possible, as much as is 100% possible. And if at all you want that receipt, take a photograph. All of us do have a mobile phone with a camera. If at all you want to use this uh, for a recording for an official purpose, take a photograph for your records and also. So this is something you need to do. Each of us, when you started refusing this, industry will listen to that. They will invent the alternatives. No, it is how we need to. Each of us, we need to. You need to educate your patients. You need to do that for your own life. Stop using this thermal receipt. I don't even have a sample to show you that. You know that what it is. So swap plastic cutting boards. Another simple thing you can use. Use wooden boards, bamboo boards, even stainless steel boards are available nowadays. Though which is not very popular, this is available, especially in various online platforms. Try to swap that with your plastic cutting boards. Whatever convenient it is, throw that away. Try to avoid it. Again, non-stick pans. Okay, you can use cast irons, stainless steels, and no various other things. So, and this is this is possible. So, that was very much more easier than throwing your shirts away. But it is very practical, very. You have a lot of options available for cast irons and stainless steel, and various other material instead of forever chemicals smeared non-sticking uh, you know pans we are using, or cooking vessels we are using every day. Coming to filtered water, you can use, while you use filter things, it is having activated carbon. It can, and another thing is RO, reverse osmosis. These two things can remove not only microplastic, it can, reverse osmosis even can neutralize something called the nanoplastics. That is, the reverse osmosis is the only thing we can keep away nanoplastic lives in the filter place. Of course, there are other things. Even moringa seeds can do that, and various something called probiotics can help you in reducing nanoplastic impact, and there are a lot of other things. Okay, but filters can be a good option. Whatever way possible, try to use water filters instead of using other methods of water heating kind of thing. We are very much particular in heating our water before drinking. Heating of water or boiling your water before drinking can add problems, can leach just microparticles and nanoparticles in the plastic. So best thing is to use water filter with RO, reverse osmosis solution in that. And again, skipping plastic tea bags, which is again, it can, and one single bag can release billions of microplastics, especially while we heating it. And another one is store leftover uh, in glasses. Sorry, whatever for example, you will be using various containers. Where you will be using various cans and packaging systems to keep your things, not only leftovers, various things, your vegetables, your rice, your whatever you use, we keep it in a glass jar, sorry, plastic jars, plastic bags, plastic containers. So you can even at room temperature, this can cause a lot of things, especially while we store that as store acidic foods in that. It can leach plasticizers and other things from the containers. So what you can use various glass bottles, of course, stainless steel bottles, whatever appropriately can be used. So that is something we can effectively do from today itself. You do whatever way, one small simple step you to do that. It may not be possible to throw away plastic from our life in a fine morning. No, it is not possible. It is not easy. But we can start something new, something in a small step, at least one step today. Okay, like avoiding touching this thermal print papers. Do that. Okay, so you can use bamboo brush, which is not very convenient, but you can use that. And while we use plastic utensils, we rub them, wash them, we use harsh meshes to clean it. We rub it like anything to clean it, because we are worried about cleanliness. But instead of using your this kind of scrubbers, try to use your hand, the plain hand, instead of this thing. Okay, and while we use dishwashers on plastic utensils, the chances of green is much higher, much faster. So try to avoid strong dishwashers in its very crude way. Try to dilute it as much as possible. Try to use mechanical cleanliness more appropriately than the chemical cleaning. And try to replace scratched uh, utensils, of course, which is already having a lot of abrasions, and try to replace your fry pans or various non-stick pans once it is once you started getting scratches. So these are the few things we can try to do in our day-to-day life. So the few takeaways which I want to restate again in the final slide. Plastic is not inert. It is highly volatile, highly active. Though we believe that plastic is plastic, it is rigid and it is immovable. It is highly volatile, highly degradable, disintegrated. So it is complex mixture of polymers and additives. So it can affect your endocrine. Plastic production has exploded in the last 20 years, and it is the momentum is going higher and higher, more into more dangerous escalations. Most of it still exist. Almost 9 billion tons of plastic we have already created. What we believe BPA free is not actually not a solution. many BPA free or bisphenol A free are not bisphenol free. They are bisphenol A free, but it is not. Bisphenol is still there in a different way, sometimes more dangerous way. They are not BPA, they are not BPA, they may be BPS or BPF. They are not BPA. Doesn't mean that BPA free doesn't mean that they are safe. And coming again, plastic degrades continuously. The problem is not going away, it is getting smaller and smaller. When the problem is getting smaller and smaller in size, the actual potential danger is getting larger and larger. Say so size is inversely proportional to the risk we are exposed to. Thank you so much for listening. Now we can discuss. You can have your own experience in this. Thank you so much. Over to Mr.
Thank you.
Dr. Tanish.
Thank you, Dr. Najeeb. You really rocked the floor with your knowledge about plastic and the plastic that makes what are the things that plastic will make for the future community and the present community. Because the mankind is living in a different situation. The geographical conditions and everything is changed a lot. And this is the second time somebody has presented such a brilliant paper on this plastic and earlier there was one Malayali doctor personality who has also done a presentation on this subject. And these both are entirely different, but the content are quite similar, but advices are also same. So as you point out that each and every day we eat something plastic in the quantity of this card. That card means a credit card size plastic we are using, and that means in a month we use it 4 to 5 times, and in a year 50 to at least, and sometimes 53 even. And so that we can think how much the impact will be. That's the reason why a lot of skin diseases are expressing, because we know that the skin is the first area that will express something. And fortunately, the doctors are trying to find why this is coming, what can be the disease, and how it can be formed, and how it can be treated, why it is recurring. And still, they are doing a lot of work for that, but still struggling. So homeopathy can also do wonders. And if what's your opinion on this potentization of plastic? Have any homeopathic doctor has done it before on this plastic? Have you?
I try to understand that. I try to explore, but I haven't seen any of the reference about homeopathic. We have petroleum, for example,
Yes,
which is again coming in the broader umbrella of plastic, because plastic is something like petroleum byproduct. Okay, so other than that, finer aspect of plastic, for example, BPA is one of the potent toxin we are exposed to. We can potentize BPA
yes,
and try to understand how it can help
yes,
us.
yes. We
Somebody
will.
should do that. That is a
Yes,
wonderful question. Thank you so much for asking
yes,
that.
yes.
So
We
we need
will
to think
have.
in that direction.
Yes, we will have to send this copy of this your presentation to some of our homeopathic pharmacies so that they can do something for that.
Yes, yes, true, true.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, Benoit, you can speak.
Sure.
He's from USA.
Yeah, Dr. Najib, it was a really brilliant session actually, and all aspects you covered were I used to follow in my day-to-day life, and every aspect is actually a valuable tip for every human being to to save and secure lifestyle they should follow. And I amazed every aspect you follow. That 10 tips you mentioned, I follow them in my life.
Great.
Yeah. So those
Wow.
plastics, those nano plastics that comes into our body, And with the miasmatic, in the current world, a lot of miasmatic influence are there, and they create tumors for you as a human being. And it's not just human being, it's a hazardous for living animals too. And those tumors come, and later this allopathic treatment, that's another catastrophe. This chemotherapy and all, they just butchers individuals. That's what happening in this world. You poison them, and later you do additional poison to finish them off. So, the miasmatic influence is there in our human lifestyle, and with this plastic, it creates tumors, and then its treatment is another a huge catastrophe that's happening in this world. So I would like every one of us follow the lifestyle to avoid the plastic, reduce the plastic, and to use mostly the glass or steel or cast iron, all those in our day-to-day utensils and all. That will save us. And yeah, and there is a limit we can do, because the plastic lobby is huge in this world, and we can do little, but whatever little we can do, we should all contribute. Thank you so much for the wonderful session, Dr. Najeeb. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Binoy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Binoy, Dr. Najeeb, and those who attend the English session. Tomorrow we will have a session from Dr. Sashimohan Sharma from UK, and Doctor will be talking about the importance of case taking in homeopathy. With that, we come to the end of the day, 2065. Thank you all. Good night.
Nice.